Geryon. Monster, warrior, son. The story you were never told. In this video, we hear the story from the naiad nymph Kallirhoe and how she remembers her son.
Today I would love to tell you of my glorious son Geryon. He was one of 2 children, a son and a daughter, born through my marriage to Chrysaor, the son of Medusa and Poseidon. Chrysaor was already formed in Medusa's womb when she was cursed to become a Gorgon by the goddess Athena. Although born perfect himself, he was destined to carry the blood of a Gorgon. Our son Geryon was magnificent even at birth with 3 heads and torsos. But it was when I gave birth to his sister Echidna, a beautiful nymph with the lower body of a serpent, we understood that our children reflected the goddess's curse. We chose not to have more. Echidna and her offspring were going to shape history, but this is Geryon's story. He deserves to have it heard. Geryon grew to match, or I'd say even beat his father's large size. He was a gentle giant beloved by the people of Erytheia, our island home, always ready to lend a helping hand when needed. But he was also a mighty warrior, trained by his father Chrysaor. Before Chrysaor's arrival, Erytheia, sitting on the edge of the known world, was vulnerable to raiders. With Chrysaor's arrival, that changed. He was a very formidable warrior capable of fighting a dozen men by himself. He organized a small militia, and those who thought we would be an easy target soon learned otherwise. When Chrysaor left with the war god Ares to fight in Iberia, Geryon became the very capable leader of our island's defense. My son also raised a herd of red cattle, the pride of Erytheia and famous throughout the world. His sister, Echidna, gave birth to Orthrus, a 2-headed hound that she sent to help her brother guard and herd the cattle. Along with his brave and trusted herdsman, Euryton, the cattle grew and thrived. Then came Hercules, not as a savior, but as a thief, fulfilling the 10th of his so-called heroic labors. Seeking glory, he cared nothing for the lives he shattered as he continued to murder off members of my family. He struck first without warning, killing Orthrus the moment he stepped onto the field. Eurytion, brave and furious, charged to defend the herd, only to fall beneath a single brutal swing of Hercules' club. A nearby herdsman witnessed the slaughter and ran to warn Geryon. Rage ignited in my son's eyes as he armed himself. I found my son already donning his armor, bronze gleaming, 3 faces set with the same unshakable resolve. "Do not face him," I begged. "Hercules fights with gods at his back." But Geryon only placed a gentle hand on my shoulder, 3 voices speaking as one. "Mother, I cannot let their deaths go unanswered." He marched toward the field, each stride shaking the earth. The sky darkened as if the world itself held its breath. Hercules stood on a ridge, bow in hand, the sun god Helios blazing behind him like a golden shield. Athena hovered at his side, whispering strategy into his ear. Geryon advanced across the plain, 3 shields raised, 3 spears gleaming, his footsteps echoing like war drums. When they clashed, the island trembled. Geryon hurled his spears with thunderous force. Hercules shattered them with arrows that hissed like serpents. Geryon's shields rang like struck anvils as he deflected blow after blow. The air crackled with divine power, sunlight flaring, winds swirling, the sea itself rising in agitation. Knowing that Hercules' arrows were dipped in the venom of the Hydra, I cried out for help. Aphrodite, my friend and patron goddess of Erytheia, arrived in a blaze of white fire, raising a shimmering barrier around my son. For a moment, the tide turned. Geryon surged forward, 3 voices roaring in unison, driving Hercules back step by step. Even Athena faltered at the sight of him, a warrior born of both earth and divinity. But Athena is cunning. She leaned to Hercules and whispered a single treacherous idea. Hercules drew an arrow, but not toward Geryon. He fired toward Aphrodite. The sky cracked open with thunder as the startled goddess jumped aside, her shield slipping for just a split second. But for that heartbeat of a second, the divine protection around Geryon vanished. That was all Athena's plan required. In that heartbeat, Hercules loosed another arrow. It struck Geryon in the chest. My magnificent son staggered. 3 faces lifting toward the heavens, and fell with the weight of a collapsing mountain. Hercules gathered the stolen cattle and left Erytheia in mourning. The people wept, and my heart broke. So now you know the truth, not the versions sung by bards who worship strength, nor the tales polished by kings who needed a hero. You have heard a mother's memory. You have heard my Geryon. He was not a monster. He was not a trophy for a wandering killer. He was a guardian, a builder, a son who loved his island and his people. And for that love, he stood alone against a man shielded by gods. The world remembers Hercules. They carve his name into stone. They praise his labors as if they were justice. But justice was not with him that day. Justice fell with my son. Yet listen closely across the ages. Erytheia, now beneath the waves, still whispers his name. The sea still carries the echo of his 3 voices. And I, Kallirhoe, will speak of him for as long as rivers flow to the ocean. If the gods will not honor him, then let mortals do what Olympus would not. Remember him. Tell his story. Let the world know that Geryon lived with courage, fought with honor, and died with dignity no arrow could steal. This is my son. This is his truth. And now it is yours to carry.
Thank you for watching. Kallirhoe is a naiad nymph of the island Erytheia. She is possibly the most mentioned in Greek mythology. Medusa was her mother-in-law and Poseidon her father-in-law. Her daughter to her first marriage was famously the mother of monsters, which made her grandmother to some of the most famous monsters of all time. On this channel, she goes beyond what was written to give her memories of what happened. We hope you enjoy and subscribe.